Mason. Thank you for taking the time to take part in Beyond Disabilities today. Please can you start by introducing yourself and your disabilities?
Um, Hello, James. Thank you for having me. My name is Mason, and I have autism and Crohn's disease. So I like to talk about them, to kind of raise awareness for the pair of them. So thank you.
Thank you. So could you start by explaining when you were first diagnosed with Crohn's disease and autism, your family's reactions and emotions and your own, and how it affects your daily life?
Yeah. I was diagnosed with Crohn's in 2017 and autism in 2009. So it affects like with the Crohn's, it did affect family as well because it puts me at risk, and just still going COVID times, it's always risky to go on because the medication I'm on, people with cancer patients take that, so it's pretty tough with that. And like with autism, it's different that way. It's not as much as it's different to Crohn's because one's a disease and one isn't. So more you have to take medication for autism, do you? So like with that was different because I was really young and I didn't really know what it was. And I'm probably more accepted having Crohn's than I am when was diagnosed with autism. So I can't really tell you how my family was to that point because I was baby, so I don't know that one. But for the autism side of things, it has really affected everyone. Like everyone's had to be really careful, like especially in COVID, like having to still go to work and kind of protect me. So yeah, it has affected. It's changed a lot since since 2017. So it has been a long ride. And as we're recording this, it is World IBD Day. So that's like inflammatory bowel disease that comes across with Crohn's. So quite a lot of people will be talking about that today.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much for explaining that. So I think autism is probably a bit more well known than Crohn's disease from my point of view. I think, would you be able to explain a little bit more about Crohn's disease and how it affects you on a day-to-day basis?
Like with my Crohn's, it affects quite. It's different because like for me, the main symptoms I have is fatigue, or one of them. At the moment, you find yourself having to go to hospital probably quite a lot. Than some people that to a person doesn't have Crohn's, or like a chronic illness or autoimmune disease. So yeah, it's annoying. It's annoying that you have to be on these certain medications. That it dampens your immune system because you see people going out there and enjoying things and stuff. And I suppose it wasn't as bad before COVID because it wasn't as much. Although Crohn's is a very you worry about, but with COVID on top kind of makes a whole lot of things worse.
Yeah. I can imagine.
Yeah. So I take medication every day. So I'll take vitamin D and B12 tablets to help with my fatigue. And I also take azathioprine, and I also have a Humira injection. So in my thigh. I do have a choice though. You can have it like in your stomach or thigh, but I just prefer my thigh because I suppose I don't know. Everyone's different. But I have that every 2 weeks. I'm actually doing my next one next week, so I do it on a Thursday like afternoon, because in case something goes wrong, I can ring someone up. I used to do them in the evenings, but I resorted to midday for that one.
No, thank you very much. Thank you for explaining all that. But before talking to you, I only knew a little bit about Crohn's disease. So it's nice to speak to someone and learn some more about Crohn's disease. So flipping to the autism side now, do you remember how you got diagnosed and what led you to a diagnosis?
I think how I got diagnosed was I was a bit different to everyone else, probably, and I remember when I was younger I would have like this car mat, and I'd collect all the cars and put them all in order, and you have the magnetic things where you can stick them together and the box and everything. And I put
Oh
all the
yeah.
colours, all the colours and everything. And I think that probably what led to it and stuff. And um, I I remember I had to go to Great Ormond Street hospital in London to get a diagnosis, and I can't remember everything, but I know I had certain tests, and
Yeah.
I was eventually diagnosed with autism, which I didn't know what it was at the time. I was about probably 8 or 7, possibly 9, um, and that was different because and then when I was eventually probably told probably at school, I didn't really accept it because I didn't know how I felt. I wasn't
Yeah.
probably the best at maths or stuff, and I find it hard to help. So yeah, that was kind of getting diagnosed really.
No, thank you very much. It's interesting to hear because I was diagnosed at 2 years old, so it's interesting to hear how like a later diagnosis in life like affects you and growing up. So, just keeping on school subject, what were your like? What challenges did you face growing up, particularly at school, and did you get any support whilst you were at school growing up?
Well, I kind of I went to a mainstream school for a year, and then I left to go to a special school, which I got more support at the special school, but not at the mainstream. They didn't really support me there.
Tell me like how your disabilities, if they did have an impact on any friendships, or if you had to make any adjustments to like, for example, did your friends have to make adjustments, or did you have to make adjustments to your behaviors to support with your disabilities?
Um, I don't think I had to change my behaviour. I was always a good person.
Yeah.
I would have
No,
thought
that
so
comes
anyway.
across.
Yeah. Yeah, and funny enough, I did get told off for a couple of times for silly things. um, Only things that I thought I was right.
Yeah,
So certain situations and stuff, but yeah, not much.
thank you. No, and like it shows that your confidence has grown, like especially with your podcast, the TikTok content you produce, and your Instagram as well. Like it shows you're a really confident person. So, gonna like fast forward to the present now, travel through time. So, how did you start your podcast work? Yeah, that's how do you start your podcast work? I've got other questions.
I started that in 2020,
Yeah,
and well, the funny thing is, I never knew what a podcast was before. So,
no,
well, I never really done one, and I had to like you had to think of a name, you had to think of a logo, which
yeah,
is always getting changed, always improving it. Um, but yeah, I started it back then, and then I literally called it My Journey with Crohn Disease at the
yeah,
start. I didn't have anything about autism, and then I did decide to do it about autism too because I thought it'd be a good idea.
yeah,
Um, and yeah, so I I started in 2020-ish. Slightly after, close to the first lockdown, most I think.
yeah.
Um, and then I eventually did change it name later on down the line, change the logo, and then yeah, so it's still going now.
No, it's brilliant, and you've had like so many good people on, and I like the way you do different themes as well, especially your recent one with mental health awareness. It's been fantastic. So, like everybody watching this, listen to Mason's podcast. It's brilliant. Search for it.
Yeah.
So, what special interest do you have with your autism? Like, I know you're a big fan of football and Doctor Who, and how do they play? Do they play an important part in your life? And how did you get into them?
I think like with football, I've always been interested in football, like ever since I was little. Like when I was like primary school, for example, there was always like a football club, or like there's football P as well, and I was always get involved and stuff. And yeah, I've always loved football. Um, like with Doctor Who, I think I was similar, probably about 5 or 4 when
Yeah,
I watched the first episode, which was probably a mistake. at that age, because I needed to go to see people because I was thinking everything was happening.
Yeah.
When I was watching Doctor Who really young, and I think that's how it impacted my autism. Thinking that I was panicking, these things are actually going to happen. Like the
I know
scary
what you
monsters
mean.
and
I've had
stuff.
those as well when I was younger.
Yeah, yeah. Like I think you had the like I went to a Doctor Who experience when I was younger. And I didn't
Yeah.
blink for the Weeping Angel, so.
Oh, that was terrifying. I remember that. I went
Yeah.
to a few when I was growing up as well. Went to a one in Cardiff too when that was there. Just something about the Weeping Angels, they're terrifying.
Yeah, they are scary.
So this is just an interest question. If you could interview anyone on your podcast, who would it be and why?
I could be anyone. Good question. I would like to interview David Tennant.
Yeah.
Or Matt Smith. Or any of the doctors. But yeah.
Good choices.
Or the Prime Minister.
Yeah. Oh, that's very good.
It would be nice to speak to him because also someone with Parliament.
Yeah. No, that's really good choices.
That's more like the Crohn side of thing. Just like talking to him about that, and but yeah, I've had a Doctor Who guest on before. I've had Simon Fisher-Barker plays Dorian in Doctor Who, so I've had one known sort of celebrity, I would say.
Yeah.
So it's always good when you get those kind of people.
I met Simon. Is it Fisher-Becker? I can't. Or
Yeah.
Becker Fisher. I've met him at Comic-Con before, and it's really nice. He's a really nice person, isn't he?
Yeah, he's good. He is.
So, what would you say are your proudest moments or biggest achievements, and what positives would you say your autism and your Crohn's disease contribute to your life?
What they just so you meet new people, I guess.
Yeah.
That's one of them. Like I meet new people all the time. Like with my podcast, I always schedule episodes a week in advance.
Yeah.
As I'm actually recording this, next week will be my last week recording, maybe for a little bit. Because I'm going to the Doctor Who Museum in Liverpool. So
oh wow, I've heard so much about this. I've never been.
Yeah, no, it's opening at the end of May. So I'm gonna go and I'm gonna go there and might see a few Doctor Who locations. So there is, outside the museum in Flux, and you had the behind the Liverpool ground for Dan's house. So I'm have a look at them.
You never know. You might see Dan still doing his tour guides that he's not supposed to be doing.
Yeah, maybe. I go to the docks as well.
Liverpool's like not far from me, so it's really, really lovely. Like I'm sure you have a great time.
Yeah.
So, what are your wishes for the future? What would you like to achieve? Do you think anything needs to change to help support you and other people with Crohn's disease and autism?
I want to like with the podcast, for example, I want to do maybe in the future have a studio or something maybe where people can just come. But that is hard when I interview people from different countries. So that won't be in UK. It's not going to be like no one's going to come across from Australia to come over.
No. You never know. Kylie comes over all the time.
Maybe. But like with the Crohn's autism, I always do. I've got an autism talk coming up soon next week, so I'm going to be doing a talk about a little 5 minutes about it. So I'm always doing stuff outside of like podcasts with autism and Crohn's, and it's not just that I do. I go to different. I go to a venue next week, which looks pretty posh.
Very nice.
But I'm going to speak about my autism. I've been speaking about autism quite a lot recently. I that's one of the goals I'd say. That kind of stuff.
No, thank you very much. And just to end, is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, I think we're good.
No problem. In that case, thank you very much for taking time to take part in Beyond Disabilities today, and good luck with your talks and your podcasts. And I'll put a link to your podcast on the credit as well.